Shalane, just to sort of kick things off, how about a little clarification? You did an interview earlier this week where it sounds like you're racing as if this could be your last marathon.
Yeah.
Is it your last marathon?
You know, you think about how the beginning of your journey starts, and then you don't think about, like, for a long time you think it's far off in the distant future when things are going to end. And so I think more and more it's becoming present in my mind how I want my story to end, and I can think of no better way to end a career and my story with a major win. I don't think I could top that. So if I were in the unbelievable, ridiculously amazing position of winning on Sunday, that would possibly be my last marathon, because that's how I would want things to end for me. But that would be a really, really hard thing to do. So if I win, that's possibly my last marathon, yes.
Even considering how much you've wanted to have that type of performance in Boston at home, if a win came here in New York, you wouldn't try to go for it?
Try to go for Boston.
Go for a win closer to home?
I mean, that would obviously be... Boston's always in my heart. I think New York and Boston to me are magical marathons, and that's why I've really chosen to come either to Boston or New York. I've only done one other major marathon, and that's Berlin, just to try to run a fast time. But I've always, like Meb, I think he's emphasized New York. It's just there's something really magical about this race, and so I would have to consider, obviously, if I were in that unbelievable position of winning, if whether I'd go back to Boston. But I don't know. I'm acting like this is it. This is all I've got, and I'm not thinking about saving anything for in the future. This is like, you know, if I need to break a leg in the race in order to win, I will just do anything I possibly can to just try to put myself in that position to have that chance.
So with that mentality, like, what did you change in your training to make sure that, like, you're in a position or in the best position to win going all in here in New York?
Yeah, so Mary has run this race more than I have. She knows this course really well, and I've looked at her splits, and she's run it a variety of ways. She's run it aggressive from the front. She's run it, you know, thrown down a 5:05 at mile 10. Then she's come back with just some really, again, mean miles at 17 and 18 with 5:07. So she's run it so many different ways. So I'm going in with the mentality that I need to just be completely open-minded to what Mary wants to do that day. In my mind, she's the alpha racer. She has a 2:17 to her name just in the last year. And like I said, she's won here already 3 times. She's run this course a lot more than me, so she has a lot of experience. So I think she's the woman everyone is keying off of. But in my preparation, I've run more miles than I ever have, which some could say is like a bit dangerous considering I had a major injury this last winter. But I think that break that I had allowed me to come back just more physically and mentally rejuvenated, and I was able to tackle more work actually because I had that break as a result. So
you're going to let Mary dictate?
I mean, I think that's what everyone in this race will probably end up doing, to be honest. But if I'm an intuitive racer, there's always room for changing things up. But by far, like I said, she knows this course better than I do, and she's won here more than I have, so which is 0 for me. So I think I'll for sure be looking to see what she's going to be doing.
A few days ago, there's a terrorist attack in Lower Manhattan. So do you worry about this marathon event?
It's obviously devastating and very concerning. I've been in a terrorist attack in 2013 in Boston, so I was there that day, and I just completed my race, and all the other runners were pouring in that day, and so it's very much hits home and very personal to me, having been a part of a terrorist attack, and so it definitely brought back some of those emotions and those feelings of 2013 Boston. But what I do know 100% is that we're a very resilient nation, and I don't know that there are tougher people than New Yorkers, and marathoners are pretty tough people too. So I think it's an opportunity to show resilience and strength and coming together. I think when you come together as a community, it really empowers people and makes people heal and feel better. It's a cathartic experience to be a part of the marathon weekend.
What do you do usually to prepare?
For my marathon?
Yes. You just say like you got injured, like major injury.
I had a major injury, yes, that was over the winter, so it was about 9 months ago, so I've had time to recover, but I've slowly progressed my training, and I've had a really great segment of 3 months of really big miles and really great workouts, so.
Yeah, so what do you eat every day usually?
What do I eat every day?
Yeah.
Lots and lots of food. I actually wrote a cookbook, so I eat a lot from my cookbook, Run Fast, Eat Slow. Probably almost every meal actually from my cookbook. But it's just a very healthy diet. You know, it's our lifestyle, and what I do is all encompassing. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's not 9 to 5, so everything in my lifestyle is geared towards having great performances.
Thank you so much.
Shalane,
Yeah.
what did you do in your training, maybe to get prepared for, a nasty 5:07 at mile 17, or some of the tactics that you've seen Mary, throw at this race?
I think it's kind of just running a little reckless and a little less calculated. But I think it's a risk, that I'm going to have to be willing to take. If I may suffer dearly, but I'm just hoping that we all suffer because of what she does and what she's capable of. But I'm here to give myself a chance at least. So in my training specifically, I've just had the best training I've ever had. So I come in with a lot of confidence that I'm the best. I've had the best preparation possible, so there's nothing specifically that we did in practice that said, oh, Mary does this or anything. It was literally just get as fit as possible, and hopefully that's enough on the day.
Do you feel like a typical conservative approach is not going to give you a chance, or maybe the best chance, and you need to maybe take some risks?
I think being there, I think psychologically having another athlete, Mary's used to controlling races, very much so, and I think psychologically, if she can't get rid of people, to her, I think she finds that frustrating. And so I think that's where I have an opportunity. If I'm sticking around and I'm annoying a lot longer than she hopes, then that psychologically has a component that you can't annoy someone from 5 minutes behind. So.
And where do you do your altitude training?
Mammoth Lakes.
Is that different for you?
No, I've done it before, but we haven't gone in a while, just because the winters are pretty harsh and the springs are pretty windy, so we've chosen alternate sites, like Park City and Flagstaff, and but for some reason, Mammoth was just seemed like that was the place I should go this fall. I don't know why. I asked Jerry if that was a possibility, and he said yes, and he actually sent our 2 guys who ran Chicago there. I like the higher elevation. I find that I'm a higher response to the higher elevation. I feel stronger, and there's nothing easy about Mammoth. I think it has some of the hardest trails. Like I said, the elevation is super high, and there's just something gritty about the environment that I think just makes you really a tough runner.
And did you encounter Meb out there at all in your
I
training?
did. We had dinner together. I didn't actually cross paths with him running, ironically, but I did get together for a lovely tribute to him, a video that they put together, and we surprised him with this video while he was in town. And then we had dinner at Dina Castor's house and Andrew Castor's house with a whole bunch of athletes. Sarah Hall was there, and all the Mammoth Track Club members. So.
And do you feel like, you have a reputation of being a gritty runner yourself. Do you feel like doing that training block in Mammoth is going to help bring that out, maybe more so?
Yeah, I think you suffer a lot there. It's just a really hard place to run, and I think sometimes when you get used to a lot of suffering, then when it comes race time, it just becomes innate and natural to suffer, and so therefore it just makes you do your job. Yeah, I just do a better job of being me, having been through a lot of tough runs, and I think it just calluses the body and the mind to just being used to that uncomfortableness that you're going to need.
When you take a mentality like this where you're going all in on one race, are you the type of person that allows yourself to think about contingency and like what happens if I blow up, or some of those what ifs, or do you just like block that out completely? And
I think every runner has doubts at some point during the race. There's a few magical races where you don't, and you're like, God, that was great. I didn't question myself at one point. I didn't doubt myself at any points, and those are those races that usually just go amazing. They're hard to recapture because they don't happen very often. But yeah, if I'm very aggressive and I'm starting to really suffer, it's there's probably going to be some moments like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been, a little bit self-doubt. And but I think, like I said, in order to just give myself a chance and an opportunity to try to win this race, I really have to just really commit and see what I can do. I know my body well enough that if I'm entering a really severe danger zone, I know how to back off and then hopefully regroup. The only time I've beaten Mary was actually here, and I fell off around like 2 miles to go, and then I actually regrouped to beat Mary. She was actually in front of me, and with a mile to go, I passed her. So I know that the race isn't over until you hit that finish line tape. So
when was the last time you had a race where those doubts didn't creep in?
Gosh.
Have you had a marathon?
It's been a while. It's been a long time. I've had a marathon, and it was here, for sure. It just came to me, it just flowed out of me. I didn't feel like I didn't doubt anything. I felt amazing. I had some other races, 2014 Boston, even though I was 7th that day, I felt amazing. And I ran exactly what I said I was going to run. I said I was going to go run 2:22, and that's what I trained for. So there was no doubts. Like, I knew I was running really fast. It just unfortunately wasn't the fastest that day. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.